Hey, this is Mr. Willis going to show you some layer blending tricks. This is a very cool technique in Photoshop. First thing you want to check is pay attention to your layers. So I have two layers in this current document. My background layer, which is just the white layer back here, and my W, which is a text layer on top of it. Now I'm going to do this with some text, but these tricks will work on any layer, whether it's a text here, a picture, a shape, all kinds of stuff. So I want to first make sure that the one that is black is the layer that's selected, and I want to make sure I've selected my text layer because that's the one I want to do some effects on right now. And then to start applying these effects, they're going to be under the word layer up top here. So I will click on layer and the layer style, and then I'm going to choose style settings. So one more time there, layer, layer style, style settings. Once I click that, it's going to give me a few different little options here. And so there's drop shadow, glow, bevel, stroke. For any one of these, I turn them on by checking the little box in there, and then it's going to give me a little drop down measure below. So stroke is one I use a lot with text. Essentially what it does is just fills a line around the edge. I can change the size of that line with this little line. Obviously if you go too far, it almost doesn't make sense anymore, right? So I want something that fits but stands out well. So with this particular letter, it looks like that's about right. You see it's got a nice dark outline now. I can also change the color. Maybe I don't want a red outline, maybe I want more of a blue outline for some reason, almost going maybe more of a Chicago Cubs thing or something like that. And I can also change this opacity. That means, do I want it to be kind of see-through or not? So you see if I turn it down, you can almost, it's like it's almost getting more and more transparent. In this case, I think I want it nice and dark so it stands out. Another common one that I'll use is this drop shadow. So if I hit the little drop down with that, you'll see here's all the things we can change. And when I check it, you might not see much yet, but let me turn up the size a little bit here. Okay, so you're starting to see kind of how there's a shadow behind it. If I turn up the distance, then you'll see it even more. Okay, so you'll see how it's actually kind of like the letter is now casting a shadow. So this has a cool 3D effect to the whole thing. I usually don't like the shadow to be that far away, something more like that to where it's making a difference but isn't too crazy. And then opacity is similar, like with the opacity with the other one. If it's turned all the way down, it's like it's invisible. If I turn it all the way up, then it's a really solid shadow. It's really it's much darker. And also you can change the color. So if maybe I want it to cast kind of a reddish tint with the shadow, you'll see how now it's got kind of a red, a red shadow going behind it. Next up, let's go ahead and look at the glow. So this one actually has two parts, an inner glow and an outer glow. Let's turn on the inner glow first, and I'm going to turn that up. So you see how it's kind of got this glowy effect happens on the inside of the shape. So it kind of starts around the outside border and glows towards the center from all these points here. Similarly with the other ones, you can adjust the size for how pronounced you want that glow to be, and you can also adjust the opacity for how much you want it to kind of fade in with everything, and you can adjust the color. I want it to be like a brighter or darker glow. This one, I don't know if I'm going to leave on my W, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it back off. Outer glow does kind of the same thing, except now the glow is being applied more on the outside of the shape. So you see there's kind of a glowiness coming off the outside. Once again, I'm going to change the color. So maybe if I do like a bluish glow, you might see it appearing a little more. You'll see how it's kind of glowing on the outside there. Another thing, some of these effects like glow will show up better depending on what's in the background. I don't want to change it right now because I'm in the middle of this menu, but if there was a black background here, these glow effects might look a lot different. One other fun fact, these are really useful if you're doing things like lightsaber effects, so ask me about that. I may make another video about that soon. And finally, the last one I'll look at here is this one called Bevel. This is the only one that doesn't have a color thing. The whole bevel thing, if I turn it up, you're going to look right kind of like in that area. And you'll see how it does this sort of 3D effects. Like if you're beveling something, it means that you're kind of rounding off the edges. All right, and so you'll see how this makes it almost look like it's, you know, kind of stamping out of the screen there. So that can be another cool little effect. You can switch the direction. So like now it looks like it's stamping into the screen. This one makes it looks like it's kind of popping out of the screen. That's all of these different style settings. A lot of times they're also called, you know, layer blending effects. And I hope you put them into good use. Only use the ones that really make your shape, your text look better. If you decide you could do without certain ones, feel free to turn them off. You don't have to use them all. All right, have fun.